Justin Potts, and I'm the Director of Brewery Relations here at Origami Sake. Yes, I've spent the better part of the last 20 years in Japan, a good chunk of that working with sake, in around sake, as well as a lot of other local foods and traditional foods and food products. I had known of this and that this was happening. I had no plans whatsoever to pick up shop and move back to the States. Yeah, I had a handful of folks ask me to come and brew sake outside of Japan over many years, and I always told them absolutely not. There was a lot of wonderful people doing good work and a lot of great sake being made, but I didn't see why it would make sense for me to come here to do that. But then when I met Ben, spoke to Matt, I realized that we were in a position to actually do the thing that I always thought ought to exist. And we all get to do it here in Arkansas. We had just bought our home, a week before. We had closed on our house a week before, and 2 weeks later, I had convinced my wife and my two young daughters that we're moving from the east of Tokyo to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Oh my goodness, every day is the same and every day is different. Every moment that we step away from this place keeps on breathing. In a way, we're not making sake, we're cultivating an environment where sake can happen. Hopefully that sake will happen, and we rush in the next morning and start checking everything to make sure it is going to happen, and then try and keep making it happen. Sake certifications are interesting because they're growing. There's more and more all the time. The way I like to learn is to go in and actually do it, see it, breathe it, touch it. If I want to learn about sake, I'm going to go after the certifications that are uniquely available to people in Japan who have spent the time, put in the work. Yeah, I started with a simple sake navigator certification. I went and got a Kikizake Shi certification, and then a Sakasho certification, which is, there's not a great translation for, but we'll call it a master of sake or something along those lines, for lack of a better form of terminology. But getting the certification is one thing. Doing that together with a group of people and going through that is where a lot of the learning happens, which is what makes that really rewarding. But you can only spend so much time in the classroom, and so from there, I spent years and years talking about sake, telling about sake, and I realized how little I knew the more I talked about it, and so that's when I got into brewing specifically. Sadly, Japan doesn't appreciate or value a lot of its traditional food products, things, the way that it ought to, and the way that the world does. And I had the opportunity to spend my time working with people who were arguably making some of the most delicious, impressive, incredible, inspiring things on the planet, and they had no way of getting it to people and communicating that to people. And so I spent my time traveling back and forth from Tokyo, from Osaka, those places, running around Japan, trying to help those folks, telling their story, getting their package into a format in a way that would resonate with people who would really appreciate it. I organized and hosted visits for people from all over the world, from researchers to Michelin-starred chefs and anybody you could think of. And so my goal is to make a delicious sake that is accessible and available to people who normally would not have the opportunity to encounter it. When I'm in Japan, the people who are coming to me are looking for it to a degree. Now here we are in Hot Springs, Arkansas, but when we're hosting tours 4 or 5 days a week, 80–90% of the people who come in here have never tried sake or have little to no experience, and to be able to watch all of them leave going, oh my goodness, I had no idea. The thing that we envisioned was real. And so the things that we're making here all lean on, knowledge that has been crafted over, decades, centuries, whatever. It's not just about us. It's about the growers in Arkansas. It's about the sake, drinking, enjoying, experiencing community here in Arkansas, in the South, in the United States, and it's about Japan as well too. If we can take a minuscule industry and turn it into something that people care about, everybody wins.